I remember a time when you were clowned for stating that you like anime or various different nerdy spaces. But now there have been changes within the space. But I think it's important for us to reflect on where we came from and where we are now, and the pros and the cons and the various different issues within the space, and also some positive things within the space. And I'm giving you all my perspective as a blurred, a black nerd within the space. Even as a black woman, I'm expected to fit into these archetypes that I don't fit into. You're like in this middle ground where you may not be like fully accepted in the black community because of you fitting that weird girl archetype, I guess you can say. But then you're also not fully accepted in other communities because they have their expectation on how a nerdy person should be, if that makes sense. So it truly is just a weird space. That's why it's important for us as black nerds, blurs, to come together and to unite and to uplift one another. We should most definitely be kind to one another in this space and to learn how to unite, because we have a very hard time coming together even outside of this space. So it's important for us to come together within the space.
Christ's love isn't like everybody else's love. It's not like the world's love. The world's love loves you when you do things right or when you do things with them. But as soon as you make a mistake, they take that love away. But what I've experienced with the love of Christ is that it loves first. It loves through wrongdoing. It loves when you shouldn't be loved anymore. It's unconditional. And that's the love that I believe is going to change the world and has changed me.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Micaiah. I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black.
Sasha here. Excuse me? Supermodels do not fly business class. Now, I'm not going to demand a private jet, but I think Jag could at least spring for first class.
And today I wanted to bring you all another video diving into what it's like being a blurred within the various different fandoms, whether we go down within comics, anime, and within gaming. And I'll give my 2 cents and my perspective growing up as a blurred and how it shifted and how we are now. But I will say that we all have different experiences, different perspectives, but I wanted to give my own on the matter. But if you all don't know what a blurred is, it's a black nerd, just like combining the word. And yeah, I want to dive all up into this because I have been there before the great shift happened, I guess you can say, when it comes to the anime space and where we are now.
Hey, if you an anime fan and you been that, I'm talking about old days Toonami, Adult Swim type, just know I see you. Cause life before the great shift, ooh, it was treacherous.
But before we dive deeper into this, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to see more of me. And if you're new, hey, and if you're a returner, I really, truly appreciate the love. And if you get the chance, please check out my social media platforms down within the description box, where I display my passion for fashion along with other various different interests that I have. And for all who are new, you should know I do an array of topics. I am extremely diverse. I love more nerdy topics, I love nostalgic topics, and I love more conscious topics. Plus, I dibble and dabble within vlogs. So we do a little bit of everything around here. So if you're interested in any of those aspects, you most definitely should check us out. And if you want to find specific interests, you can check it out within the playlist section. So let's dive back into the video. Being a blurred is just very interesting in general. It's a weird space because as a black individual, you're expected to fit all these various different archetypes. Even as a black woman, I'm expected to fit into these archetypes that I don't fit into. I tend to fit into the archetypes that are outside of what is expected of me, if that makes sense. So it's like this weird space where I don't want to use the word looking for acceptance, because I don't think anyone should look for acceptance, but I think that you're like in this middle ground where you may not be like fully accepted in the black community because of you fitting that weird girl archetype, I guess you can say. But then you're also not fully accepted in other communities because they have their expectation on how a nerdy person should be, if that makes sense. So it truly is just a weird space. And that's why it's important for us as black nerds, blurs, to come together and to unite and to uplift one another and to just be that helping hand and to lean on one another. And for us to have the spaces like DreamCon and BlurCon, all these different places to feel comfortable to nerd out, because I feel like we have a double-edged sword of what we're battling sometimes in this space, and that is something important to note. So as I stated, I was there before the great shift of anime being now even more popular to the masses, and how everyone and their mother is watching anime now, and it's more acceptance and everyone's able to be loud and proud about loving it. Not to say we weren't loud and proud about it before, however, it's more acceptance and people have more of a positive light when it comes to those who watch anime or who are into comics and all this more nerdier stuff. But I will say before that, I'll speak on myself because I've been watching anime since 2005, 2006. So I was like 5 or 6 years old around that time. And I remember when I would get weird looks for saying that I loved anime, or I would say that I would watch a certain show, and it wouldn't just be to those outside of the Black community. I actually would get weird looks and strange commentary when it comes to those within the Black community.
If you watch anime today, you definitely know about like the Great Shift and people being called new gens. And if you don't know what that is, basically people who watched anime before, you would just get clowned, and that was just how it was. Like, you would just get clowned. But then the Great Shift happened, and now it's kind of cool to watch anime. And like the OG anime fans always say, I got bullied for watching anime, you don't know what I went through, like I was always getting bullied. Really? Try being a girl watching anime before the Great Shift. Bro, we was getting cooked every day. If you were a girl, like 8 to 10 years ago, if you were a girl and you claimed to like anime, the boys would literally bully
The life out of you.
First of all, they'd say, you're faking it. Second of all, like it or not, you're getting quizzed. What's the name of the villain in One Piece? Like there's not 500. Who's the fourth Hokage? Like, chill. It's the same ones who said, you guys don't know what I've been through. I got bullied for watching anime. Y'all was bullying me. Not all of you guys, but I'm just saying, being a girl before the Great Shift, if you think you had it bad, bro, just know we had it worse. We had it worse. I'm so sorry. This is not even like, oh, I'm not trying to start a war. I'm just trying to let y'all know we had it worse.
And I'll say for myself, I guess I don't have that quote-unquote stereotypical look of someone who likes anime. So a lot of times when people find out that I love anime, even now, I don't get weird looks, but it's like oh, you like anime? And then we start diving into it, we start talking, and then they're like, wait, there's a lot more to this girl than what meets the eye. But there's like this assumed archetype, which I did a video on, so if you have the opportunity, please check that out, when I was first diving back into the commentary space. And there's like this assumed archetype that people envision when they think of someone who likes anime. And I guess you can say I'm not one who fits into that archetype. But I think people need to also stop assuming, which I think we've gotten a little better at. But I still think that you have to look a certain kind of way or be a certain kind of way sometimes to like anime, which is still in alignment with the Great Shift. Of course, we've gotten better, but I still think there's a certain expectation to be a certain way or be like other people when I'm still my own person within this space. But yeah, going back to when I grew up, I would get those looks, but I kind of honestly truly didn't care. I've always kind of like had that I don't care like attitude when it comes to people maybe not accepting me in certain aspects because this is who I am and this is who the Lord has made me to be. But I've always loved all of this different kind of stuff, specifically anime. I was a gamer growing up. I was more into like PlayStation 2, and I love like Def Jam Vendetta. Like I like those kind of games. Like that was me. Of course, I was playing the DBZ games, Booty Kai, and all of that. However, I started transitioning out from being a gamer maybe when PlayStation 3 came out. So I'm not within the gaming space and I'm not like heavy within it. However, I've always been within the anime space. And then as I started maybe turning like 9, 10, then that's when I got more into like the comic movie space. I didn't start reading comics until fairly recently, but that's when I got into this. So even when, and I touched on this in the previous video, but I thought it was important to touch on now, because even when I want to say my freshman year of college, that had to be 2018, when I decided to join the anime club. And of course, I'm the only one who looks like me. I'm very one of the few black women within the crew, I guess you could say, but that didn't bother me at all. And if there was other black people, they fit more of the other people's archetype than I did, if that makes sense. So I got really weird looks because I came in with my hoops. But once they started talking to me, the guards were down because I think sometimes people assume that you're not going to be a safe space because you look like this, so they assume I'm going to be a certain kind of way. I don't know if you all are picking up what I'm putting down, but they assume you're going to be a certain kind of way, and then once they see you, they're like, oh, okay, she knows what she's talking about. She knows her anime. And then that's when I started going to conventions my freshman year of college, because my school took us to the convention, and that was so dope. That was super cool. It's one of the best experiences I had. Now I go to conventions every year. I've been to DreamCon, I've been to Comic Con, I've been to Anime NYC, I've been to even local conventions around my area. So I love the whole space. I hope to be able to go to BlurCon, because I really do love nerding out and just being around your fellow peers who truly love anime. And I'll say for many, I know anime is like an escape from the world. It's just an opportunity for you to dive into a world, into a realm, and really get heavy into it. And I love that it creates like that safe space, even amongst different fandoms and people who like certain anime and all of that. I think it's beautiful, because I'm a Naruto fanatic. That's my favorite anime. I love it so much. So I love when I can meet fellow people who also love that on top of other animes that I like, and we can just connect and nerd out and chit chat, because I think people should feel comfortable. So I love that that's more open now within this space. But as we know, after COVID, that's when anime got even more popular. Come to this time period now where we're at today, and now everyone and their mother loves anime, and I think that's okay. However, I think, like I stated in a lot of different videos that I have, I think it's important for people to do their research when they're hopping into a space. Like, I'm not going to just hop into a space and not do my due diligence. So when people like come on, it's like, oh, this is in the big three, or like this is in the big three, and it's like, no, the big three can't be changed. I did a whole video on that too, so check that out if you get the chance, because this is more like a free form video, because I think it's important to evaluate all aspects of a space. And for me, I was in it before the transition, and now I'm here after the transition, and kind of seeing how the two worlds collide and how they're different and how there's pros and cons in each of them. So yeah, I think now, how would I describe it? Now, due to social media, specifically TikTok, a lot of the fan bases are very toxic and very strange and very weird. And strange and weird in not the best way, if that makes sense. Like, I like My Hero Academia, but I see why a lot of people may stray away from it because of how weird the fandom can be and how strange they are. If you want to do your own research on how strange they are, that's up for you to do. On top of other fandoms like JJK, like a lot of these fandoms tend to be really twisted and weird. And I remember when I was younger, we were just fans. Not to say we weren't weird, because I was definitely weird, but not in a twisted way, not in a strange way. And I think nowadays people kind of just come on and just say whatever and act strange, and they get a little maybe too obsessive when it comes to various different fandoms. We can even tap into K-pop, how obsessive and how strange a lot of people act. We can see even with Cat's Eye not even being a K-pop group, but because they're underneath a K-pop foundation, how they're treated and how that fandom is Lulu as well.
Can someone explain to me when fandom spaces got so mean?
I have the answer, but you're not going to like it. It's good. Or let me rephrase. It's lockdown. So a lot of, quote, normal, popular kids had nothing to do, so they started getting into the weird kid media, like the anime and all that. And they realized, hey, this is actually really good, which is something we had been telling them for like literal years, regardless. Like, I literally was on Facebook and I saw like one of my old person I went to high school with. So I'm like, oh, Kilo was the GOAT. I have a distinct memory of you in 2016 saying it's weird that I'm so into anime, and then was like, oh, are you into Naruto? I'm like trying to be funny and like mocking me. Regardless, it's that. And the thing is, they're coming into these spaces, these quote weird kid spaces, and they're confused when there's weird kids doing weird kid. Like, yeah, we dress up. What's the problem? Yeah, we're going to sing the songs. Get over it. And then they have these discussions that we've already had on Tumblr. Like, they don't have fandom etiquette, if that's the word to say it. So, like, certain fandoms obviously get new shows, new things, so it brings a new wave of people. And, like, lockdown brought in a lot of new people to new anime. But the thing is, if they weren't on Tumblr, or they didn't get into Tumblr, some of the discourse that we've had that's been here for years, and we've already had these discussions, these thought pieces, we've already came to a unanimous feeling about it, and we've moved on. They're new. So they're coming in with the same discourse, and we're like, no, we're not rehashing it. And then they're like, well, I don't understand why all of you guys feel like this. Because we've already had this conversation. You just wasn't in the room. And now you came into the room and you want to have the conversation again, and everyone's saying, no, I'm good. I'm great. And the thing is, you're coming into these weird kid spaces, and you're bringing your biases and your attitudes of the, quote, normal, popular group, and then you're confused on why we're being hostile. Like, you made fun of us. You come into this thing, you come into our spaces, and you're still making fun of us. It doesn't make sense.
So due to social media, people are allowed to be more expressive about their opinions, and due to technology and AI, they're able to act out certain things or display certain things. So it can be very much twisted nowadays when it comes to the anime space. That's why I'm very particular on where I want to go or what I want to see online or who I watch. So I even love now when I go to conventions and people are dressed up, they're cosplaying, they feel comfortable in their own skin. That really is a space for people to feel comfortable, and that space should remain the same. People should not feel like they are being judged for nerding out. I know when there was a lot of like streamers going to various different conventions that they didn't really understand the space. So I don't think it's anything wrong with people coming to a convention that don't understand the space, but I think it's important for you to, like I said, do your research before you hop into it, where you shouldn't be clowning people for dressing up and cosplaying, because that's what you do at a convention. That's what you do at a convention, right? So it just doesn't make any sense. So I think everything goes back to due diligence and people doing their research before they hop into a space, even those who are now new to anime. And now, of course, we see with the shift, now it seems to be more acceptance within various different communities, whether that's within a Black community. I can speak on that because for myself, we see now more of an acceptance. Of course, still people look at it like it's strange. I'm not going to act like a lot of my family members aren't like, okay, that's interesting, you're going to a convention, da-da-da. But my cousins, we all love it. So they know we're all going to go and we're all going to just nerd out. That's just who we are. But even with the outside community, right, where there's a lot of anti-Blackness within it, when people dress up in various different cosplay, or people decide to be a character that's not quote unquote Black, or whatever the case may be. But the anime space is for you to dive into a world that's not real, if that makes sense. And if someone wants to dress up and they want to be comfortable within their own skin, I think they should be able to do so. Just like I like cosplaying, I've recently joined like the cosplaying community, like in I want to say like 2023. I want to say 2023 is when I started cosplaying, or 2024, I can't remember which one. But I started cosplaying and it was for DreamCon, and I really enjoyed doing that. And now I can't get enough of it, and I'll be having a cosplay that I'll be doing soon. I like more fashion cosplay. That's more of my je ne sais quoi. That's what I like. I like my cosplay to look fashionable, but it's okay if someone doesn't have their cosplay that same way. So I know some people are like, oh yeah, like I miss when cosplay was just fun and you didn't have to do the most. You still don't have to do the most, but I think it's all up to that individual. So I like how now cosplay is more fashionable, whereas before you would look exactly like the character or wear exactly what the character wore, but now you can just be fun and vibe out. But I know some people don't like that aspect, but I love that twist on it. And as I stated, I cosplay. I'll show a few of my cosplay like on the screen, but I enjoy the more fashion aspect of it because I love fashion. But it's okay if someone wants to look exactly like the character and not be all dolled up and fashionable. I think that is ridiculous how people try to bash people in their cosplay if they don't have all these expensive items and all that. I don't think that's necessary. I think you should do what you feel more comfortable to do and have fun with it. Cosplaying for me was a little weird at first. I'm not gonna lie. When I would go to conventions, I would wear t-shirts. I really truly wouldn't cosplay. I'm not gonna lie to you all. I was not really the biggest fan of it, but I have found a love for it and I do enjoy it, especially when I go to like conventions and I'm in those more nerdier spaces. But going back to anti-Blackness within the cosplay community, you get a lot of backlash from the Black community, but you also get a lot of backlash from other communities where they feel like you don't fit into these archetypes and into these spaces, and they're like, well, that cosplay is not accurate because your skin, like, come on, it's stupid. Like, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. That's why I say it's a fake reality. It's a fake world. If they don't have the same complexion as the other person or this person or that person, who cares? This is a fake space. Anime is fake. It's not real. It's not the real world. And even if it was them cosplaying as a real world, does not matter. They're able to cosplay the way they want to, and I don't think people should be bashed for that. But I'll say that's been pretty consistent even before the Great Shift. People have been bashed for wearing various different cosplays even before this, and it still remains the same. I think there is a little bit more acceptance when it comes to it, but overall it's kind of the same, where it could be a very much toxic space when it should be a safe space for nerdy individuals. So I was stating before, it was a toxic space for those outside of the community, more so what I experienced. Like, those in the community I felt were like your safe space, and you could just nerd out and like feel comfortable nerding out. But now I feel like because it's grown so big, now there's more people who don't fully understand the space and pass more judgment, and that's when you have your ignorance when it comes to people cosplaying as people who may not be that same complexion, or that's when you have the ignorance of someone just cosplaying as something that's not as fashionable. Just ignorance. There still is a lot of ignorance within the community that does need to be rectified. But hey, let's be real, there's a lot of ignorance in various different communities, and I don't think the anime, gaming, all the different spaces are going to be perfect. That's why it's all about you finding your community and your niche and being mindful about what you want to put out there. Like, when I put my 2 cents out there, you know, I have my thoughts on various different like anime and all that within the comment section. I have to be willing to receive someone who's going to disagree with me, because there's a lot of ignorant people online. Like, even when I posted about the art of wielding swords, and someone was like, well, Zoro's like whack, or whatever, however he worded it, or whomever that was worded it, I was like, well, that's your opinion. You know, I think Zoro's fire, and I've been liking what I'm seeing so far, and I understand why people have so much love for it. It has certain moments for me that are like more peaked than others, but I will say I do enjoy the space, and I think Zoro is one of the best characters. He's within my top 2 so far. Chopper goes first. So I have to be open to that. People are going to have commentary and things to say, and they're not going to agree with me, because no space is going to be peaches and rainbows. So I'll say that has remained the same. It's not peaches and rainbows, but I love how anime is growing, the space is growing. I just want people to do their research, do their due diligence, and really be mindful of what they say and what they push out there, and a lot of the harmful rhetoric. To just don't assume everyone looks the same. Don't assume everyone is the same, because not everyone is the same within this space. But I love being a blerd. I am thankful that I've never kind of shied away from being open and loud about being that way. Yeah, I don't know. I've just always kind of been this way, where I like what I like, and I don't really care. I just don't really care. And if I don't fit your archetype, or if I'm not who someone you think should like something, that's your problem, not mine. So I think we should most definitely be kind to one another in this space, and to learn how to unite, because it starts with us. That starts with us in so many different facets, but I think it's important for us to come together, because we have a very hard time coming together even outside of this space. So it's important for us to come together within the space, and that it's up to us to create that safe space for one another, because if we don't create that safe space for one another, who's going to create that? Because if you don't get that outside of the community, or if you rarely get that outside of the community, because I'm not going to say I don't get love from outside of the community, because I do, but if you're not receiving that, or if you're seeing that there's more backlash coming outside of the community, it's important for us to show that love amongst us. So I thank you all for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Please leave your thoughts and perspectives on the matter. But as I always state, let's be respectful. That is important. And I want you all to remember that you are loved by the God who created the universe. He made you wonderfully made. You are unique. You are uniquely made by him. So there's no mistake about you. And I thank you all so much for sharing this precious moment with me. I'll check you all out in the next video. Stay blessed, everyone.